All right, so the draw for the women's Indian Wells has just come out. It's a very interesting draw. There's a couple of crazy first-round matches, but there are also some players that are not playing in this one. Some big names as well, so let's go to the withdrawal list first. Okay, so there is the withdrawal list. You can see there we've got Krejcikova. She's pulled out. She's still recovering from injury. We've also got Pavlyuchenkova pulling out. Pliškova's out, and also Vondrousova, unfortunately, is not going to be playing this event. She's also out with injury, so a little bit of a shame there. A couple of big names, a couple of Grand Slam champions not involved in this draw, but we do have a lot of good names playing and big names playing, so let's go to the top of the draw. Okay, so it's a big tournament. We've got 32 seeds. All the seeds get a bye in the first round, so none of the best 32 are going to be playing until the second round. But Sabalenka, she's the number 1 seed. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either Blinkova or Kessler in the second round. Then you've got Kalinina taking on Bronzetti. Winner of that will take on Frere, the 30th seed in the second round. Then you've got the 20th seed, Alexandrova. She'll take on either a qualifier or Paolini Kudermetova, who's been very good at times this year. That'll be a second round matchup. Then you've got 2 qualifiers going at it. Winner of that match will take on the number 16 seed, Haddad Maia, in the second round. Interesting draw for Sabalenka. I wouldn't say it's easy, but I also think it's manageable. I think it's a manageable draw. Of course, you got to watch out for Sabalenka. You got to watch out for Alexandrova. Both had good moments this year. In fact, Alexandrova beat Sabalenka this year. Also got to watch out for Frere and Haddad Maia. But I'll be watching out for Kessler. Kessler's been very dangerous over the last week especially, but over the last couple of weeks, very dangerous. I think she also might have won a tournament at the start of the year, if I can remember properly. So definitely watch out for her as one of the unseeded players in this section that it could be very dangerous. Next part of the draw, you've got the number 12 seed, Kasatkina. She takes on either Stevens or Kennan in the second round. So Stevens, Kennan, crazy first round. Probably the craziest first round in the draw. Then you've got a qualifier taking on McNally. Winner of that will take on the number 24 seed, Samsonova, in the second round. Then you've got Fernandez. She'll take on either Veronika Kudermetova or Christian in the second round. Then you've got Jovic taking on Grabber. Winner of that will take on the number 6 seed, Paolini, in the second round. This feels a little bit more of an open draw. You know, there's no massive standouts. Obviously, Paolini is there, but it doesn't feel like, you know, especially the way that Paolini's played this year, it doesn't feel like she's a sure thing to make the quarterfinals. But, of course, you've got to watch out for Paolini. You've got to watch out for Kasatkina. You've got to watch out for Samsonova and Fernandez in this section. But you've got to watch out for Kennan. Very dangerous unseeded player. We've seen her play well as an unseeded player this year. So very interested to see how she does in her little section there. But very interesting. Could be an open section of the draw. All right, next part of the draw, you've got the number 3 seed, Gauff. She gets by in the first round, but she'll take on the winner of Raducanu or Uchiyama in the second round. So we could be getting a Raducanu Gauff second round, which is crazy if that does happen. Then you've got Danilovic taking on Tomova. Winner of that will take on the number 29 seed, Sakkari, in the second round. So Sakkari, Gauff third round. Again, not an easy draw for Gauff. Then you've got Anisimova, the number 17 seed. She gets a bye in the first round. She'll take on either Bencic or Maria in the second round. Then you've got Parks versus Kalinskaya. Winner of that will take on the 13 seed, Schneider, in the second round. That section of the draw alone is crazy. That is a crazy section. Of course, you've got to watch out for Gauff, you've got to watch out for Schneider, you've got to watch out for Anisimova, who of course won her first 1,000 title in Doha a few weeks ago. Also, Sakkari, the defending finalist from last year. She did beat Gauff, I think, in the semis to make the final last year, so definitely watch out for her. Obviously, you got to watch out for Raducanu. Also, Bencic, been very, very good in 2025. And then the next part of the draw, you've got the number 10 seed, Navarro. She'll take on either Castella or a qualifier in the second round. Then you've got Davis taking on Avanesi, and winner of that will take on the number 19 seed, Vekic, in the second round. Then you've got Mertens, the number 28 seed. She'll take on a qualifier in the second round because 2 qualifiers are going at it in that first round. Then you've got Moniro taking on Potapova. Winner of that will take on the number 5 seed, Keys, in the second round. Now, Keys, we haven't seen since the Australian Open, so this is going to be really interesting to see her back. And it's not an easy draw for her, but you've obviously got to watch out for Keys in this section. You've got to watch out for Navarro. You've got to watch out for Vekic if she can maybe catch a little bit of fire. Also Mertens as well. But I'll be watching out for Avanesian. She has been very good at the last week or so as making a semi-final, I think, last week. So very, very scary player, especially in a draw where it's a little bit open. Obviously, Navarro's been the most informed player recently, and then Keys, obviously, in January is the most informed player in this section. So it could throw up some interesting matchups. Now, so this bottom quarter of the top half of the draw, if that makes sense, will take on the Sabalenka section. So we could be getting a match between Sabalenka versus Gauff. We could be getting a match between Sabalenka versus Navarro, if you want to go with the players that are someone who's played really well in February, or we could be getting a repeat of the Australian Open final between Sabalenka and Keys in that semi-final here. We don't think Sabalenka's going to make it. Maybe you think it's going to be Gauff taking on Paolini in the semi-finals. Maybe Gauff versus someone like Alexandrova, because Alexandrova's been good at times this year. She's kind of surprised a lot this year. Maybe you don't think it's going to be Gauff. Maybe you think Keys take on Paolini, or maybe Keys taking on, I don't know, Fernandez, or maybe Kazatkina if you want to go something a little different. But interesting draw, the top half of the draw. Okay, now the bottom half of the draw, we've got Rybakina, number 7 seed. She takes on either Buskova or Lemens in the second round. Then you got Bagu taking on Lee. Winner of that will take on the number 25 seed Bolter in the second round. Then you got the number 22 seed Towson, who's been very good this season. She'll take on the winner of Osorio or Osaka in the second round. So, Osaka-Towson, we did see that in Auckland. Unfortunately, it ended with retirement for Osaka, but very interesting matchup, potentially a rematch there. Then you got Kvitova taking on Gracheva. Winner of that will take on the number 9 seed Andreeva in the second round. So, Andreeva, Kvitova could be very interesting. This section's really, I feel like it's really tough. I mean, you got to watch out for Rybakina, you got to watch out for Andreeva. They could meet in a fourth round. You got to watch out for Towson. She's been very good this season. And then you got to watch out for Bolter, even though she hasn't been great this year, but Bolter, we've seen, is very dangerous. And then the unseeded players. You've got to watch out for Kvitova coming back for the first time in a massive tournament like this after having a baby. Obviously, you got to watch out for Osaka as well in this section. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of good, potentially good second round matches. Next section of the draw, you've got the number 14 seed Collins. She'll get a qualifier in the second round because 2 qualifiers are going at it. Then we've got Kruger taking on Volley Nets. Winner of that will take on the number 23 seed Svitolina in the second round. Then we've got Ostapenko. She'll take on either Sharif or Wong in the second round. Then you got Stearns taking on Lynette. Winner of that will take on the number 4 seed Pegula in the second round. Again, a lot of potential crazy second round matches, or at least a couple of potential dangerous second round matches. Obviously, got to watch out for Pegula. Just won a title last week in Austin. Watch out for Collins as well. Hasn't played much, it seems, this year, but got to watch out for her as well. Obviously, Svitolina and Ostapenko, got to keep an eye on them as well. They can catch fire at any point. But also watch out for Stearns. Very dangerous player. Showed that at the Australian Open. Showed that over the time. She's very capable of taking out big names, or at least taking the big names the distance early in tournaments. She's a very, very dangerous player early on in these kind of events. Next section of the draw, you got the number 8 seed Zheng. She'll take on either a qualifier or Azarenka in the second round. That could be interesting. Azarenka versus Zheng. Then you got Shrimkova taking on Sun. Winner of that will take on the number 31 seed Noskova in the second round. Then you got the 18th seed Kostruk. She'll take on either a qualifier or Montgomery in the second round. Then you got Rakhimova taking on Dollarhide. Winner of that will take on the number 11 seed Badosa in the second round. Interesting draw as well. I mean, a couple of players that have been playing well, but it's not really the top player in this section that's played well in 2025 in general. Of course, you got to watch out for Zheng, got to watch out for Badosa, got to watch out for Kostyuk. Also, Noskova, we've seen her play well at times this year as well. But it's interesting. I mean, Azarenka, maybe you watch out for her as well as an unseeded player, but, you know, Zheng hasn't been great this year. Badosa's been very good, probably the most informed player overall this year in this section, but then Noskova and Kostyuk are very capable of winning too, so could be a little bit of carnage in this section. And the bottom section of the draw, you've got the number 15 seed Mukova. She'll take on either Zarazua or Chocoyoredo in the second round. Then you got a qualifier taking on Siniakova. Winner of that will take on the number 21 seed Putintseva in the second round. Then you got Jabeur, the number 32 seed. She'll take on either Yastremska or Yuan in the second round. Then you got Garcia taking on Pera. Winner of that will take on the number 2 seed Swiatek in the second round. So again, some crazy potential matchups in the second round for the seeds, and possibly third round matches as well. There's some crazy matches up there. I feel like Swiatek's draw is kind of rough. Got to watch out for Swiatek, got to watch out for Mukova. Also got to watch out for Putintseva and Jabeur as well. But you got to watch out for Garcia. She could be a little bit awkward for Swiatek in that second round. This section of the draw could take on either Pegula or Rybakina later in the semi-final. So we could be getting Swiatek taking on Pegula. We could be getting Swiatek taking on Rybakina. We could be getting Swiatek taking on Andreeva. If you want to go with the players that have been, or at least one of the players that have been really good in February. If you don't think Swiatek's going to make it, maybe you think it's going to be Pegula taking on Mukova, or maybe Pegula taking on Zheng. If you want to go with something a little different, maybe Pegula taking on Badosa in the semi-finals. You don't think Pegula's going to make it. Maybe you think it's going to be Andreeva versus Badosa, or Andreeva versus Zheng. Or maybe you think it's going to be Rybakina versus Badosa, or Rybakina taking on Zheng in the semis there. So it could be an interesting little section. There it is. That is the draw for Indian Wells for the ladies. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching this later. What do you think of the draw? Who do you think has the toughest draw? Because it might not be super obvious looking at it there that, you know, who has the best draw, because most of the best players didn't play well in February, and then some players didn't play at all, like Madison Keys didn't play at all, so we don't even know what to expect from her coming into this event. But there it is, Indian Wells draw starts on Wednesday.